Hi, we're Ellie and David. Join us as we overland the Americas in Yak, our Land Rover Defender.
Yak's already taken us across Europe and Central Asia, but this expedition will be our biggest challenge yet.
We're overlanding from the southern tip of Argentina all the way to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. Follow along as we experience all the extremes and beauty of a simple life on the road in our Pan-American adventure.
Good morning from 3,500 metres. Neither of us actually slept super well last night, and we think it's probably because of the altitude. I had slight headaches, but it just didn't sleep super well. Today we're heading towards Piedra Pomes, I think it is. So it's a big kind of sand dune higher up in altitude, and then later on in the evening we'll climb back down to camp at a similar altitude to this, just to help ourselves acclimatise a little better. But the first thing we're going to do today is get in the hot springs.
How warm is it?
That's like perfect. It's not too hot.
This is crazy. I can't believe this is natural.
How was that, Ellie?
So good. I didn't want to get out. I genuinely could have been in there all day. I need to make a move.
Yeah, I
some
got
sand dunes to drive on. After leaving the hot springs, we started climbing through the immense landscapes of the Argentine Altiplano towards Piedra Pomes. As we worked our way up to 4,200 metres, we were rewarded with an ever-evolving backdrop of volcanic dunes, pumice fields and beautiful cloudscapes. We'd never seen anything like it. The terrain was otherworldly, and the beauty of it, paired with the lack of oxygen, quite literally took our breath away. We've just hit 4,000 metres, so this is now officially the highest we've ever been. This landscape is just incredible, unlike anywhere we've ever been before. Yeah, it's a cliche, but we do feel like we're on another planet.
The area we're entering now is called Piedra Pomes, and initially I thought it was quite sandy and sand dune type area, but actually I think it's more volcanic rock and dust. We're going to have to climb quite a big sand dune soon as well, so we're going to lower the tyre pressures right down and just take it slowly, but Yak's pretty low on power, had some pretty smoky gear changes, and to be fair, I'm struggling quite a bit with the altitude as well. So we'll see how we get on, but the aim for today is just to get over the sand, dust dune, whatever you call it. I don't know if you can tell how steep that section is, but I think a lot of the people that do the route north to south end up coming down this bit of the dune, and it is really steep. There's no way we get up there.
It's really soft stuff.
Yeah, really soft, especially with the power we've got. There's another route you can take, so we're going to go across there and around the base of the kind of dune and around that way, and it should be a lot easier, but that's terrifying. We've made our way over the dune, we'll call it. There was one section that was slightly we started crabbing a little bit, but after our experience in the reserve in northern Argentina, we sort of took a similar approach. Just don't put your foot on the brakes, just take your foot on the accelerator and let it sort of work its way out itself. Really, really cool landscape ahead. Looks like there's a big volcano that we might go and check out.
There's some pretty intense rain coming down over there. I don't know if you can see it. Just hoping that's not coming our way now.
Just had an interesting moment. We were driving along and something felt weird. It wasn't driving, it wasn't getting full power, and looked in Ellie's mirror and could see sort of blue smoke coming out of the exhaust, which is obviously not good. We went to film it so that we could send it to Ellie's dad and our mechanic back home, but it stopped doing it. It might just be a lack of oxygen thing, I'm not sure, but it feels fine to drive now, so we're just going to go very slowly, because this is quite possibly the worst place we could break down, but we're just keep an eye on it and see how it feels. We carried on driving for a little bit, but it kind of kept happening intermittently, and sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. We pulled over and we've been here for about an hour, and I've been talking to a few friends who kind of know about Land Rovers, know about engines. We've tried looking at the fuel lift pump, fuel filter, we've looked at the turbo, looking at any ways that kind of maybe oil or water are getting into the combustion chamber. Nothing's really been super conclusive, so we're going to just carry on driving really steadily and slowly. This couldn't really happen in a worse place. We are very remote here, pretty far from the nearest town, no one for miles and miles. It's so hard to know if we're losing power or if it's just getting bogged in particular parts of the sand.
In situations like this, my brain kind of automatically goes to the worst case scenario. You know, if something bad happened to our engine here, people potentially wouldn't come through for weeks. I don't know how often people will do this track. It's super remote. We've got a few days worth of water, but we're obviously in the middle of a volcanic desert, so there's no water around for miles. So really hope it'll be alright. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm guessing it's just the altitude because our engine's usually pretty strong. We haven't really had any issues with it up until now, have we? So I think we're just gonna really slowly get down a little bit to a slightly lower altitude. The sand's just got really soft here, which doesn't help. The engine's having to work harder. I'm just keeping an eye on the wing mirror for any blue or white smoke coming out. Probably here, but the corrugations here are really bad.
Just what the doctor ordered. Oh.
Is it a bad one?
Yeah. Just when we weren't having enough fun already.
Yeah, David's been having quite a few nosebleeds. I'm guessing it's because of the altitude. We've pulled off the track to find somewhere to camp in this really cool rocky landscape here for tonight. There's quite a bit of wind, but we've got a little bit of shelter behind this big rock here. Although it does kind of feel like the wind's coming from all directions, so it's definitely going to be a sleeping inside one tonight.
Good morning. This is the view we have woken up to this morning. We camped outside the pumice field last night, and I cannot tell you how still it is here. No engines, no humans, no animals as far as I'm aware. Just so unbelievably still, and last night it was incredibly windy whilst we were cooking. This morning I'm going to change the diesel filter to see if that helps kind of reduce any of the smoke at all. Have a little look in the old one, see if there's any sort of dirt, muck in there. I'm also going to bleed the coolant system or see if it needs bleeding at all, because if there is an airlock in the coolant system, then it can cause pressure on the head gasket or cause it to go. And then we're going to head towards that volcano over there, check it out. And then there actually is a smallish settlement nearby from which we can then hit a bit of tarmac, I think, towards Antofagasta la Sierra. And we've seen an Overlander there. There's a mechanic there. And so we're going to go and hope that they're open and see if they've got a pressure tester, because then we can kind of get maybe a better diagnosis of what's going on. I'm hoping by the end of today we'll either have yes, it's a more serious problem, or no, it's fine, you can carry on driving. But either way, it's a cool place to do some work on the Land Rover. Just made possibly one of the most stupid bush mechanic mistakes I could make. While changing the diesel filter, left my socket there, went to turn the engine on so that I could bleed the diesel filter, and this wobbled in, and snapped one of the radiator fans. It should be alright to carry on. Obviously just keep an eye on the engine temperature, and now we've got to try and find a new fan at some point. It should last a fairly long time, it should be alright, but quite annoying. Done all the checks and all the things I can do for now. We're going to hit the road, check out the volcano on the way to the town, and hopefully find a mechanic in a bit.
The volcano in the distance there, it's really cool how it's a different colour to the rest of the landscape. You can see all the lava flow, all the really dark rock around it. No way. Is that tarmac?
Oh yeah.
We just pulled over because we spotted this massive lava field here. I think this is basaltic rock from my very hazy memory of GCSE geography. So cool to think this was all molten once. It's a lot heavier than the kind of pumice rock that we were camping in last night.
Haven't been able to find a mechanic, so we're just going to head north and head towards Cono de Arita and then Torre Grande and see if there's one there. We haven't actually been smoking white or blue at all since we've reduced our altitude, so we're just going to carry on, take it slowly.
That's a new record.
I'm happy to stop like almost every 10 minutes to release the pressure on our petrol jerry can. It's being rather dramatic.
Good morning from the tiny village of Antofalla. I'm not sure it's even a village really, more of a hamlet. It's just a few houses and a tiny little square. We camped just in the main square last night because we read reports that in this area they don't really like it when you wild camp between the villages, so we thought we'd just play it safe and camp here. And we're continuing north today towards the Cono de Arita volcano, and then I think we're going to an abandoned mine as well, so looking forward to that. It's our old friend Corrugation.
Oh yeah. absolutely unbelievable view. Just flat salt pan for miles and miles. We've just read that it's the third largest salt pan in the Andes after Uyuni and one in the Atacama. It's pretty big.
Sitting at over 4,000 metres, Mina La Casualidad was once a thriving sulphur mining community. Now an eerie, windswept ghost town, it serves as a tourist attraction to those willing to brave the extreme conditions and corrugated roads. Almost 3,000 people once called this place home, from its founding around 1940 to its forced closure in '79. Looking around the desolate remains, it was hard to imagine the fully functioning town, complete with a medical centre, schools, a cinema, sports facilities and a church, although there were some small reminders of its former residents like old shoes and books dotted about the dust. It must have been a tough existence up here, contending with low oxygen levels, extreme UV radiation, freezing temperatures and gale force winds.
I think this was probably the mechanic's workshop. This looks to me like a wheel bearing. Not far off what Yak's wheel bearings look like sometimes.
You can see quite a few patches of sulphur on the ground like this, and it does smell pretty eggy. Towards Tola Grande now. The roads have been relentless today. You might be able to hear it. The corrugations have been horrendous. So we're looking forward to getting there and having a little bit of peace this evening. We're running pretty low on water at this point. I think we've got about 6 litres left. So yeah, this town is pretty good timing. Hopefully we'll be able to find a hose or something so we can fill up our jerry cans and water tank. Fuel-wise, I think we're doing all right, aren't we?
Yeah, not too bad.
Got about half a tank, and
all of the jerry cans, yeah.
Yeah, we've got about half a tank and all the jerry cans, so we're doing all right for fuel. Not too worried about that, but we'll still fill up when we get there. Really hoping we can get a decent night's sleep tonight as well. You can probably tell from our faces, but we haven't really had a good night's sleep in about a month, I reckon. Just a combination of it being really hot and quite cold, and the wind and altitude, I guess, as well has probably played a part. But yeah, we definitely need a good night's sleep.
Over the last sort of 4 or 5 days, however long we've been up here on the Altiplano, we've been through such a dramatic variety of landscapes, and it's all absolutely breathtaking. But it gets to a point where almost you get desensitized to it. So every now and then Ellie will just say reality check, and we'll have a little look around us and just kind of remind ourselves how unbelievable it is, the place that we're in. Just so easy just to sort of get on the road and get to the next place, but yeah, everywhere we've driven has just been so different to anything we've seen before. So this is all still part of that same salt pan next to Cono de Arita. It's a very, very big site. I hadn't quite realised how big it was. I think we've probably driven 30 or 40 miles from the cone, so rather large.
This road here is just cutting straight through the middle of the salt pan.
Tough old day of driving that. The roads were pretty unforgiving, but cool spot for the night. Handy pile of wood for levelling us, and obviously no wild camping spots without your own heater.
We're down to last of our fresh food. This is a very precious onion. Plain pasta from here on out.
Mañana we are crossing Desierto del Diablo. Been practicing my Spanish, which crosses from the edge of that ridge over there all the way over there, and I think we kind of go up through a track that leads up into it there, and then after that we'll be doing a fair bit of driving because we're meeting our friends in a uni in a couple of days. So do the desert in the morning and then just start heading north and hopefully find some fresh fruit and veg.